I'm calling out all the parents. If you're a parent and your child is in pre-K to elementary school to high school, I'm calling you out. The children today, I have never experienced, and I'm 22. Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. I teach 5-year-olds ballet. 5-year-old girls ballet. I have a class of 10 students. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You confront the parent. The parent tries to argue with you and fuss at you because you tried to reprimand and redirect their kid. I told a young little girl, please sit in your spot. You're not my mom. You don't tell me what to do. Okay. When her mom came to pick her up, I said, hey, your daughter's having a hard time following instructions. And 7 times today, I've had to redirect her to just sit in her spot. Well, clearly she didn't want to sit. And mind you, this is a mom. Clearly she didn't want to fucking sit right there. So, I mean, if she's telling you she don't want to do something, why keep asking her to do it? You know she's not going to do it.
Few things. Obviously, in this anecdotal experience that she's having with the parent, obviously there's no home training. And that's what it boils down to. It boils down to the fact that she's a young lady and she probably don't have no experience outside of teaching dealing with kids. Because at that age, you can get a number of things because this is where the kids learning. But she's right though, because as parents, this is the time we're supposed to be molding and shaping these children to be respectful. And granted, they're going to have their little ways. And at that age, a lot of times they really don't acknowledge adults as adults because they don't really understand that. However, they do understand, hey, when you act a certain way, go to timeout or something like that, or you're not going to get your snack later on. So that's where parenting come in, and probably, and no discredit to her, but just her life experience when it comes to kids if she don't have none of her own. Now, when you get down to the mom coming up here reinforcing the bad behavior and going saying, hey, maybe she don't want to listen, that's on mom, that's on the parent. And typically in a lot of those situations, I'm gonna be honest, there's no dad because children act different when it's mom and when it's dad. And typically kids will listen to their dad. But this sounds like, just from what I'm hearing thus far, it sounds like a combination of things of her just not really understanding how children act. And then there's the ratchet bunch of parents with the kids that just run over top of mom.
What world do we live in? Like, what in you guys' brain as a parent says, my kid not following any directions is a great thing. It's not that serious, and y'all don't have a right to tell her what to do. It's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And another thing that's heart-wrenching is horrifying. It is horrifying. Your 5-year-old daughters are asking to listen to Poundtown.
There it is. These kids are going to be a mirror reflection of their parents and what's going on in the houses. And typically you see that behavior manifest while these kids are in school. And what she's describing is what's happening home and what mom is doing. A lot of times kids tell on you indirectly by the things that they do, the songs that they sing, the words that they say, the attitudes that they show, the attitudes that they're showing against this lady in class. And what happens is when the teacher got to deal with all that, let's say hypothetically, there's a 45-minute class. If the teacher got to spend half of that time getting your kid together, it's taken away from what these kids need to be learning. Whatever she's teaching, whether it's dance, English, math, like it's taken away from it. So when you send your kid out here, it's a ripple effect because it takes away from the other kids. As parents, it's our responsibility and our duty to make sure our kids are acting. And we know how our kids act when we out in public or how they treat other adults. When we got to, hey, pull little Jamal to the side, say, hey, check this out. You keep acting this way, no PlayStation. You keep doing this, no that. there has to be a consequence. You don't gotta knock them upside their head like some people would suggest, but there has to be a consequence because when you send these kids out here, they got to be able to function as young people out in these environments so people can do their job because these teachers are not babysitters. They're there to do a job. And if they got to spend half their time correcting your kid, it's taken away from the whole process.
And Ski, your daughters, your 5-year-old daughters are asking, can we hear Pound Town? I'm playing them Princess Tiana ballet music.
Thugging with my rounds, and knock a bitch down. Now where that nigga? She looking for the hoes, and that is sad. But the thing is, a lot of these young parents, man, if you teaching 5-year-olds, the parents probably 20, 19. It depends, because people have kids early, and that's what they're listening to. And back in the day, we had these things called PG content, PG-13. They had warnings, but now we just letting our kids soak up all this stuff like a sponge. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these songs, if you read the lyrics word for word, minus the beat that's hypnotizing, you'll understand that it's foolishness and it's not what you want to pit in your kids. And you can't say, well, what they doing this is only music. You can't piss in one side of the pool. If I pissed in one side of the pool, would you swim in it? You can't, you can't um infuse all that wickedness and garbage and um junk and don't expect it to manifest itself because kids all they are humans in general. We are sponges. We are like computers, and you give us software and it'll reflect the hardware, but we're the hardware. You give us software and the things that we do is the end result of that.
And they are asking me, can we hear Pound? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I'm so scared for these little girls today because this is the most insane agenda push I have ever seen in my life. We do freeze dance. You guys' daughters are twerking at 5. 5. Where's the parenting?
Unfortunately, that is the parenting. And you know what I'm liking, because this is getting a whole lot of attention, is the fact that, yo, a lot of people who live in these environments, they think it's regular. Down is up and up is down. So a lot of this behavior never get called out. They came up in the same behavior. That's why they think it's okay. It's like a person that smoke can't smell the cigarettes on them. Or you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where if that's the norm, it's the norm. And I'm glad she's speaking out because it's not the norm. It's not okay for your 5-year-old to be twerking. We can't be sexualizing these kids. And the funny thing is, this is what happened with the young men with gangster rap. And I'm a product of that. And I can vouch for it because I listen to music, Mob Deep, and all these different things. Granted, everything wasn't shoot 'em up, kill, but there's a lot of songs we played on the way to do something we wasn't supposed to do. Let's just be honest. We gotta hold the mirror up and be honest about it. Do we get rid of hip hop? No. Let's stop calling that stuff hip hop because it's not. But we need to make sure we filter what our kids watch. One and here, they will argue like, well, we watch movies, we do this, we do that. However, when we watch movies, we see a preview and we could make a adult decision whether we want our kid to go see this movie. We're not going to let them watch scary movies because we're going to say, hey, they can have nightmares. So we do make decisions as adults when it comes to stuff that they watch, and it's not the same. It's not a fair comparison. We know with music is a little bit more soul involved in hypnosis. I can't explain it, but we gotta really change the culture. And women came a long way. They got from up under men thumb, and they're educated. This is not the 50s and 30s and 40s. They're entrepreneurs, and we want to keep that going. right? We want to keep that going. That's great. I love that for women. I love that for my daughters. I love that for everybody's daughters. What's going to happen is now that your daughters are absorbing all of this, they're going to become that. They're not going to be like you. Then the music, even though to you, you could understand it and decipher it, eat the meat, spit out the bones, and know that, hey, it's just music, not your kid. Not your kid. The same thing with their sexuality. They really don't know. But we keep infusing this stuff in them, so we got to really protect them, man. They're sponges, man. They just sucking all this up. And if you really love them, regardless of what you like for yourself, typically parents want better for their kids, not the same.
Where's the boundaries? Where's the help? Y'all are not helping your kids. You're hurting them. You guys are hurting them. I come every day dressed, ready to go, and I'm in school too. I'm in college. I mean, I put bows in my hair. I'm wearing leotards. I'm trying to get them interested in like proper things for their age, and you guys are exposing your kids to this raunchy secular music. Why is you guys' 5-year-old's daughter singing Poundtown? And it's just really, 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 it's upsetting. And I feel so bad. And I've watched different techniques, soft skills, soft parenting, gentle parenting. I'm patient.
All right, like I said, she is not a parent, and I wasn't trying to criticize her early in the video, but to her credit, she's saying, "Hey, I'm not an experienced parent, so I'm learning all these different things." And believe it or not, a lot of parents don't even go try to learn these skills before they have kids. So to her credit, she's searching ways, and that's one thing about being a teacher. Everybody learn different, right? So you gotta learn different ways to get the message across so they can understand what you're trying to install in them. Um, this is sad. Like I don't think they was crocodile tears. I think she, grew up the way she grew up, and she's seeing, comparing herself to them. We can't help but to do that, and she know that is wrong, and she's trying her best. And like she said, she have patience. She looked into all the different styles of parenting, and I'm pretty sure she tried to apply them to the kids. But if she can't even get the kid to sit still, and the mom come up there and want to, probably throw hands or give pushback, how you supposed to deal with that? Especially if she's teaching, that's the way she making a living to get herself through school. How she supposed to deal with that? Because they're the customers.
I don't yell. I'll say, hey, let's regroup. If you guys need 5 minutes, let's do some breathing. Your kids are telling me to shut up. You guys' kids are saying, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. You're not my mom. They're putting they're hitting each other and hitting other kids. You address the parent. The parents are telling you, you don't tell my daughter what to do. It's not that bad. Well, at least she was in the class. At least. It's all these excuses.
And what you're hearing her repeat is a lot of the same excuses they use in regular school. Of why when the teacher reach out, hey, they're not doing their homework, or at least they in class. A lot of the stuff is typical things that when you get a bunch of young kids together, they do. However, when you can't get through to the kid, you speak to the parent and you expecting them to get through to them, so you can do what it is you really trying to do, and that's not be the guard and judge and correct over the kids, but to teach them the lesson. But this is what's going on. What she's experiencing is what teachers experience every day, trying to teach y'all little raggedy kids that you don't want to correct, and then that you sit out here and I can't, I send my kid to school and we got to put up with your wickedness that's reflective of the kid. Parents, you got to do better. You got to do better, because this is just a reflection of home, and this is also a reflection at school. And I'm pretty sure, probably 1,000% sure, that's the way they act in school.
Y'all come in and you're more worried about what's going on your Instagram and TikTok feed versus being a parent. Be a fucking parent. You guys are horrible fucking parents. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but this generation of some of the mom, not all, but majority that I've dealt with kids that are between the ages of 5 and 4 and 3, you guys don't parent your children at all. They have no basic comprehension skills. They can't sit still. No attention span.
It was a teacher that went viral that said the same thing about his 7th graders being on the 4th grade level. Key thing he said is comprehension skills. I don't know if that's a reflection of us not reading enough books or reading to our kids or just them just not understanding. But she's not the first person to point that out.
They're hitting people. They can't talk. They can't communicate. They don't even know how to say, like, I want to go to the bathroom. If you ask them a question, they're rude, nasty, horrible attitudes at 5. And they want to hear Poundtown. What are you guys doing with your kids? What are you guys literally doing with your kids? Because I have never in my life experienced something so horrible. I literally don't even want to teach ballet to you guys' kids anymore because they are so hard to work and deal with. And I literally see why the teachers are quitting and your kids are getting expelled and kicked out, because it is literally no way that this is happening.
Oh, it is. And in public school, they just pushing them through because it's big business. It's overtime. When they grow up to be young adults and uneducated, right? We're going to always have workers and not bosses. You understand? That's going to be overtime for the police to be able to put their kids through college. It's going to be beds filled in prisons. And then the work that they get done by the prisoners at a cheap price to be sold to you at the regular price out here on the streets. It's big business. That's what it is. Yeah, they're doing it. That's why they're quitting, because typically teachers, they really want to teach and educate people. But when you're faced with all the social things coming into school, whether it's gang stuff, abusive homes, one parent, drugs, and whatever learning disability that they have to deal with, you got teachers that got like 40 kids in the class, half of them late. Um, Only 3 of them did their homework. The rest of them didn't pay attention from the days before. See, as though everything is, if they're not even paying attention no more at this point, they just disrupting the class because they don't know what's going on in the class. So the best thing they know how to do is be funny, act out in some violence, throwing paper, and the teacher can't do a recap of the whole year every class because your kid can't keep up. And it's not like the teacher moving fast. And for those who really care and really trying to teach, it's heartbreaking that they see what's going on and they just step away.
And you guys don't see any issue with it. I tell you, your kid hit someone, and you're saying, well, what the fuck did the little bitch do to my daughter to make her want to hit? Nothing. Literally nothing. Your daughter just decides she wants to put her hands on people, and you don't correct her. You're yelling at me, asking me, why does she feel like she wants to hit? What parenting is happening? You guys are worried about seafood boils and dates and fucking like partying and being a hot mom.
Tell me the parent's black without telling me the parent's black. Tell me the parent's black without telling me the parents are black. Now, I'm going to hold the mirror up. Who do you see? Yourself. You're that parent. If this triggers you in any way, you're the problem. You're the problem. It's us. We make all kinds of excuses why this shit is okay, why we don't need to change nothing, and it's them, they, this invisible people. Like, we don't have no fucking control over the things we put in front of our kids, and we don't have no accountability. Other people, when other people fight It's not to say that we don't. We got to fight with each other first to decide what we're going to do. But other people past that and they fight. They're not having that. We need to care more about our kids because the kids is the future. She's one of many. She's not alone. And guess what, ratchet people? There's a lot of us that feel this way, and we don't care about y'all. Your thug ghetto shit don't fear us because half of us from the ghetto, we don't care. We're grown now. We know better, and we want what's best. We want a fucking future. No more poverty. We taught the dumb little kids. We taught our kids dying because it's all going to have the same. We taught her all of this. This got to stop. It got to come to an end. So you as an individual, because that's how this works, you get your house together and deal with your kids and send them out the right way. This is not the 70s and 80s. No more excuses. Enough is enough. Handle your business, take care of your kids and your family, and it starts home. Everybody can't be in your home, so this is your part. When they leave out the building, out the house, if I'm doing my job as a parent and you're doing your job as a parent, we don't have to worry about our kids coming together and clashing.
Mom, leave me alone. I wanna be